my uncle was dating a lady from New York, and her niece was visiting her from Minnesota. So one of the guys from the Imperials came in and said, "Who's that girl out there with the green eyes?" I think I was around 19 then or something, and I says, "Oh, that's my girlfriend, man." I haven't even seen her, didn't meet her, and I don't even know what she looks like. I don't nothing. So I ran out there quickly, where she was sitting, and I seen her, and I said, "Oh wow, she's beautiful," and that green eyes and everything. So I sat down next to her and I says, "Hi, my name is Pepe. What's your name?" She says, "My name is Chantel." I says, "Hi, how are you, Chantel?" I says, "Well, how are you here? What's going on?" She says, "Oh, my aunt. I'm here with my aunt Kalua." And I said, "Oh, your aunt?" I said, "Well, your aunt goes out with my uncle." She goes, "Really?" I go like, "Yeah." And I says, "Well, you want to hang out? Do you have a curfew or something?" She goes like, "No, I don't have no curfew." And I said, "All right, let's get together and hang out." So after the show, we had good times and stuff. We went out, and I later dated her, But and still during that time, after the shows, because it was there for a long period of time, um, my uncle asked me after one of the shows that I want to go to a party, and I said, "Sure, let's go." So we go up in Manhattan. We're already in Manhattan, but down the street or something. And we get into this elevator. To me it was like dingy, dusty, dirty elevator. And I'm going like, what kind of party this guy's taking me to? You know what I mean? And you had to pull down the thing, for the doors to close like this. And then he pushed the button, and we go up to like the third or the fourth floor, and then the doors open, and the place was jumping. I'm talking like popping. I mean, the decor was just absolutely amazing, posh. It was just beautiful. They had couches and aquariums and lighting and, tables and, the girls and, music and people dancing. And I was like, wow, what's going on here? We sat down, we ordered some drinks. I'm looking around and stuff. Then I look and I elbow my uncle, and I go like, "Yo, man." He goes like, "What? What?" I said, "There's Jimi Hendrix." He goes like, "Where? Where?" I said, "He's right over there, man. He's right over there." He goes like, "You want to meet him?" And I go like, "Do I want? Come on, man. Yeah, I want to meet him." And he goes, "Hey, Jimmy." Jimmy turns around and go like, "Hey, Clarence, what's up, man?" They knew each other, from years and years and years. They go up, they give each other a hug, shake their hands. He came over and sat at our table. I got to meet him, "Hi, I'm Pepe." And he said, "Yeah, this is my nephew," and we shook hands. We sat down and we talked for a while. And then he was looking around. He seen this girl, right? So he goes up. He says, "Excuse me for a minute." He goes up to this girl and he goes, whispers in her ear, then he leaves. With her, And that was it. That was my thing with Jimi Hendrix and stuff. So, but I learned all of this, and then while dating this woman from Minnesota, come to find out, she is Prince's first cousin. Okay, and she told me about Prince, that she wanted to, he was interested in the music business, and I
So this
says,
was before his start.
"Oh yeah, yeah." See, the first time I met Prince was in 1970. I had just got out of the service, and I came here to get back with my girl, Chantel. And Prince was like, I believe he was 13 or, yeah, around 13 years old or something. He was wrestling with his cousin on the floor or something like that. And I didn't pay no mind to him. But, years later, a couple of years later, I had to go back to New York in 3 months. But then a couple of years later, he had called me and asked me about publishing, And I says, "Well, look, it's hard for me to, tell you about publishing over the phone, but I'm coming to Minneapolis and I'll, talk to you about it." So I didn't get to Minneapolis until like a year later when he was like 16. And then I came here, and his band, Grand Central, was playing at my father-in-law's ski party because I had married Chantel during this time, right? So, and then I met Prince, Morris Day, André Cymone, all these guys in the same band, and I went up to their manager and said, "I would love to, work with your group." And I had everything. I had all the knowledge of the business. Any questions that these guys would throw at me was boom, 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 was answered and stuff. They didn't know nothing about radio. They didn't know nothing about publishing. They didn't even know how to write songs. They wrote songs, but they didn't know how.
What made you want to take any part of their time and help and assist in any way with them? Did they show any promise?
Oh, well, the thing was, well, first of all, he was my wife's first cousin, and so I heard the band at the party. They sounded very good because they were playing like Earth, Wind and Fire songs and stuff like that, but none of their own originals. So when I started working with them, just to see what they were about, they sounded good. They had talent. Everybody knew how to play their instruments. I thought at that time that Prince only played guitar, and Andre played bass, and Andre's sister was playing the keyboards, and Morris Day was the drummer, left-handed drummer. He was the drummer. One day at rehearsal, Kristie and I were there. Kristie Lazenberry from 94 East. Yeah, she was there. Prince was playing one of the songs and stuff, and then I had said to him, I says, okay, well, I think we played one of Andre's songs. Then they played one of his songs. Prince had out Sex Machine, and Andre had this song out called You Remind Me of Me. And they played it, and they were singing, and they're jamming and stuff, and they jam. I think the record was like 4 or 5 minutes long.
Is that André Cymone?
Yeah, André Cymone. He was Andre Anderson then.
All right.
And then so I said, well, wait a minute. I says, the song can't be that long. I said, radio, they have a criteria of like 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 30 seconds is good. So you have to construct your songs better to fit in that 3 minutes to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then we mapped it out. I mapped it out for them. This is the form that you use. And then they started using that form, and then the song started being at that, time. And so Prince had played guitar, and then one day he had said to Andre, he said, let me hold your bass. I want to show you something. So Andre gave him the bass, and he says, Andre, this is what I want you to play. And he started, just jamming on this bass, man. And I'm looking at him like this, going like, this dude plays bass? He plays guitar and playing it. I'm not talking like there were mistakes or nothing. There were no mistakes. I'm talking like he played he played better than I played. You know what I'm saying? Him and Andre used to have songwriting contests, so they were always playing, like all the time. So then Andre took the bass and played exactly what Prince wanted. Just played it. Before even Prince finished, playing what Andre said, I know what you want. Wow. Gave him the bass and went and just played it like that, and I was like this. Then he goes over to Linda, right? The keyboard player, and says, Linda, this is what I want you to play. And then he's playing the keyboard. Now I'm flabbergasted. I'm going like, oh, no, wait a minute. This guy plays guitar, he plays bass, and he plays keyboards, and he was just 16. And I'm going like, oh, no, okay, I'm never leaving Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, I was in the studio at Cookhouse Recording Studios recording some of my stuff, some of my new music that I wanted to put out. And so I invited Prince. I said, look, man, you got to play with us, And some of these meetings that we've had, not auditions, meetings and practices that we've had, we not only practiced music, we talked about business, So I taught these guys not only construction of music and writing songs, but about the business, what a producer does, what a manager does, how you get paid from radio, all of this whole thing. So they were just engrossed in me. They were soaking it up like a sponge, So I invited Prince to come play with my band, 94 East, with Marcy and Kristie and myself, Pierre Lewis, and Wendell Thomas and Dale Alexander, the drummer. Dale Alexander later was playing on Prince's Madhouse album, and toured with him. So Prince came to the studio with us in 1974 We finished in 1975, and that was his first time ever in a recording studio. He'd never been into a recording studio ever. So we took him in there and we recorded 5 songs. We did 5 songs in 4 hours, and it was just amazing. It was If You See Me, If We Don't, I'll Always Love You, Better Than You Think, and Games. Those are the 5 songs. And If You See Me, Prince redid that years later after he got signed. But he redid it later and called it Do Yourself a Favor, but he never put it out. But Jesse Johnson heard Prince's version, and then he put it out later on his album on A&M when he was signed with A&M. But so Prince comes in the studio with us. We record the 5 songs. He calls me up the next day. I'm going out to the golf course trying to play golf. And he says, I made a mistake. I have to go back into the studio and change something. And I was listening to it all night. I ain't heard no mistakes, And me and the bass player, Wendell, was talking about it, going like, man, did you hear the stuff Prince is playing? Man, where did this guy come from? We were just amazed with his talent on the guitar. And so at that time, he had, overwhelmed me so much. I was totally overwhelmed, and I knew that in any situation musically that he can handle.